Welcome to the RavenFist YouTube channel. After creating the video essay on Sinistar, my thoughts lingered on arcade games. I started thinking about other arcade wonders that I could talk about. After some thought, I noticed a trend. Most of the games that came to my mind played on a single screen. I don't mean compared to arcade games that played across two or more physical monitors. Technically, almost every game plays on a single screen, just with some scrolling or loading. No, I mean games that show you the entire playing field and take place on one single screen. The three games that came to mind are Rampage, Root Beer Tapper, and Super Off-Road. These aren't the three greatest single-screen games in the world. They certainly aren't the first single-screen games that come to mind. For anyone expecting Donkey Kong, Popeye, or even Joust, I'm sorry. I zigged when you expected me to zag. These three games came to mind as I considered the arcade experiences I had as a child. I don't specifically remember the first time I encountered Rampage. It was probably at my local Aladdin's Castle, but I don't have a specific memory. I do remember immediately connecting with it. To be fair, the conceit of the game is brilliant. You are the monster. You destroy the city. Done. The game is executed expertly. The controls are sharp. The game is just plain fun. This is the first memory I have of playing the villain in a video game. I was all too eager to smash the buildings to rubble. I was thrilled to smash the taxi and watch it explode. I was a little horrified, but excited, the first time my monster avatar grabbed a person from one of the building windows and ate them. Hardcore for 1986. I would play this game regularly when I had the opportunity, but my strongest memory of this game is renting it for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I remember walking through the aisles of my local video rental store and seeing the box artwork for Rampage. This was a simpler time before release dates and pre-orders. Every time I got to look at a collection of NES games for rent or sale, I actually never knew what I was going to see. So seeing Rampage in a take-home package filled me with glee. I rented the game, got home, and started destroying cities. Imagine how thrilled I was to discover that the game gave you unlimited continues. Over that 3-day rental period, my NES never powered off. I would play Rampage every second I had, pausing when my parents called me for meals or said that we had to go somewhere. I remember leaving my Nintendo on overnight so I wouldn't lose my progress, part of me convinced that it would explode and set the entire house on fire, but I left it on anyway. The next morning, we were all still alive and my Rampage game was right where I had left it. Finally, after what must have been 20 hours of playtime and 128 stages, I defeated Rampage. I waited in apt anticipation for what incredible cutscene ending such an amazing game must have. All it said was congratulations. I don't think I've ever been more disappointed in a video game ending than that one. It took me a long time to forgive Rampage, but I can play it today and appreciate how good the game is, and I can laugh with that little boy who tried so long and so hard to beat the NES version. Unlike Rampage, I do remember the first time I encountered Root Beer Tapper. My family was on a vacation and we stopped for the evening at a motel. To the left of the motel lobby was a small laundry room that had a few upright arcade games. Being the child that I was, I immediately begged my parents for some quarters to let me play. I'm sure they were exhausted from the trip, probably hungry for dinner, but they gave me a few quarters anyway. I walked into the laundry room and saw a sight that I had never seen before. The arcade cabinet of Root Beer Tapper didn't have joysticks and buttons like every other arcade game. Instead, it had a joystick in the middle, flanked by 2 keg tap handles. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I didn't know what these strange-looking handle things were. I just wanted to play a video game. I loved this game immediately. I don't know why. There's something satisfying about the rhythm of the whole thing. Pull one stick to fill a mug, pull it again to whip the mug along its way to a waiting customer. Perhaps I should have been a bartender. I don't remember anything else about this vacation. I was very young, and that's probably not surprising, but I do remember Root Beer Tapper. I'd occasionally see it in other arcades, and when I did, I'd toss in a quarter and have a few minutes of fun. I was an adult before I learned that the original game was just Tapper and was less child-focused than the innocence of slinging root beer to thirsty customers. Kudos to Bally Midway for seeing a secondary marketing opportunity for this game. I don't know why I like Super Off-Road as much as I do. I like it for its uniqueness, I suppose. There was a very small window where racing games would be made like this. There was, of course, Sprint, which despite its look is quite advanced, requiring you to dance between 4 separate gears to drive. You'll notice that that's approximately 4 more gears than my brain can handle. Sprint had its follow-ups, including Sprint 2, 4, and 8, not sequels, but rather indicative of how many players could play at one time. Then there was Super Sprint, which I am noticeably better at. Then there was Badlands, in case anyone ever thought I'd really like to play Super Sprint, but in a post-apocalyptic world. Super Off-Road, though, is the one that captured my imagination, and I think there were two reasons. One is the fluidity of the animation. Watching the trucks move in this game is kind of mesmerizing. Two, the arcade cabinet had 4 steering wheels that would spin indefinitely in whichever direction you spun them. This meant for 9-year-old me that obviously the correct way to play this game was to determine what direction your truck needed to turn and to fling the wheel in that direction with all of your might. You would think that after trying this a single time and watching my truck spin in circles, I would have learned to apply a bit more nuance to my driving. Nope. Every time I played this game, I would rear back and spin the crap out of that steering wheel like I was a contestant on The Price is Right. This meant I was never any good at this game, but oh, the joyful memories. Playing it now, I realize that certain arcade games will never be recreated because of their unique controls. Using an analog stick in place of those spinning steering wheels is fine, I guess. The game is still fun to play, but what I wouldn't give to plant my feet and give one of those super off-road steering wheels a spin with all the strength I could muster. The topic of single-screen games is a broad one, and I could easily pick 3 more and do an exploration like this again in the future. But for now, this is as good a place as any to end it. Please check out our YouTube channel for more meanderings on video games and to see what kind of games we create ourselves. Or you can learn more about us by going to RavenFist.com. Until next time.